In classrooms like this in the United States and across the globe, a broad spectrum of disciplines and subject matters are taught. Educators have a wide range of pedagogical techniques that they can use to instruct students. Discussion-based learning is one such technique. Discussion-based learning is one of the most frequently used pedagogical techniques. William Ewens described discussion-based learning as a diverse body of techniques that emphasizes participation, dialogue, and two-way communication. He then goes on to add, in the discussion method, a teacher and a group of students consider a topic, issues, or problems, and then exchanges ideas, experiences, opinions, and conclusions with one another. Discussion-based learning, compared to the traditional lecture, is more effective in that it encourages critical thinking skills, application of theory, and you get a diverse group of perspectives on many different topics. It can even translate to the effectiveness of online learning in that it helps combat feelings of isolation amongst distance learning students. These are some techniques that you can use to effectively employ discussion-based learning in your classroom.
Start the discussion by posing a broad, open-ended question, one that has no obvious right or wrong answer, but which will stimulate thought. Begin with concrete, common experience, a newspaper story, a film, a slide, a demonstration, or a role play. Analyze a specific problem. Ask students to identify all possible aspects of the topic or issue under consideration. Be benignly disruptive. Start the discussion with a controversy by either causing disagreement among students over an issue or by stating objectively both sides of a controversial topic. Some other considerations to make when using discussion in a classroom are: discussion requires preparation. For thought-provoking issues, allow students time to get prepared. Give the questions ahead of time, or at least allow students time for reflection before they talk. Also, to remember to give yourself plenty of preparation time before the class begins. Break large problems into smaller, more specific ones. Discussions often appear disorganized because different students are working on different parts of the problem and thus become frustrated by what seem irrelevant comments by other students. You should break the discussion problem into smaller parts so that all students are working on the same part of the problem at the same time. Ask questions at different levels of abstraction. Don't get stuck at some particular level of analysis. Stay at the factual level. Also, ask questions that require analysis, application, synthesis, and evaluation. Provide encouragement and praise for correct answers and risk-taking. Be positive, non-judgmental, and supportive. Don't use unnecessary jargon. Explain your terminology. Phrase your questions carefully so that they will not confuse students. Adopt the 10-second rule. Learn to be patient and to tolerate silence. Silence, after all, can be a powerful motivator for speaking. Practice waiting as long as 8 to 10 seconds for responses to difficult and thought-provoking questions. Learn to paraphrase. Paraphrasing, sometimes called active listening, involves interpreting what students say, reformulating it, and presenting your own interpretation back to the students in your words. It is a method of communicating understanding and involvement which, if practiced conscientiously, involves more than merely repeating or parroting the student's comment. Allow students to answer. Resist the temptation to answer your own questions. Learn students' names. Learning their names displays your concerns and lets students know you care about them as individuals. Although simple, it is one of the most important techniques to promote discussion. Seat students facing one another. Seating students in rows may reduce discussion among them. Seat them in a circle to promote classroom interaction. Adopt the role of troubleshooter. Reduce ambiguity by presenting facts or requesting the discussion by summarizing or by preventing premature closure of the discussion. Creatively handle disagreements. List the pros and cons of an issue on the blackboard. Allow representatives to offer points of view to debate. Make people temporarily argue from a perspective opposite from their own, or employ other techniques to reduce destructive classroom conflict. Promote openness and honesty. Try not to be defensive. Don't be afraid to admit ignorance and learn to say, "I don't know." Use alternative views as teaching resources and try to promote a friendly atmosphere in the classroom. Promote student self-help. Help students learn to evaluate their own progress and to identify discussion problems and barriers that have developed. Encourage student interaction. Encourage students not only to ask you questions, but also to react to one another's ideas. Promote the idea of education as a democratic endeavor in which people learn together. Be a positive role model. Actions are more often important than words. Be careful to provide an example through your actions of your most important values. Draw on student skills. Draw on the tremendous reservoir of existing skills and practical life experiences already present in the class. Get individual class members to contribute to problem areas where they have special knowledge or experience. Summarize, summarize, summarize. Periodically and at the end of the class period, appraise the progress of the class by summarizing the main points of the discussion. Restate issues, point out diversions and barriers, and praise classroom successes.
Hopefully you'll be able to use the techniques discussed in this video to add discussion-based learning to your pedagogical tool belt.